According to any encyclopedia, there have been over 4,500 violent revolutions throughout all of human history. All these revolutions partially failed because only the leaders were replaced, while flawed socioeconomic systems remained in place. Because of this, new leaders eventually inevitably become just as corrupt as the previous leaders. The masses do not need more violent revolution. We need peaceful transition. The following was made for all ages. It explains exactly why our current socioeconomic systems continue to fail and always lead to inefficiency, instability, dysfunction, and war. The following explains exactly how we can arrange these systems to finally generate true societal efficiency, stability, and eventually peace. People. Are you ready? I'm standing inside a Roblox game called Survive the Unaliver. It's hard to believe, but this game, STK, it actually provides valuable insight that reveals a way to fix the real world. Right now, I'm inside my STK house. When I go outside, everything seems kind of chill. Everyone here has a home. Everyone here isn't necessarily equal, but more importantly, for the most part, everyone here has equal access to what's available in this world. So life seems good here for everybody. But when you look at the real world, not everybody has a house or shelter. In the real world, not everybody has food to eat. According to any encyclopedia, for the past several thousand years, many people have been experiencing the same societal problems, such as unemployment, poverty, starvation, and war. Isn't it ironic that adults tell kids not to solve problems with violence? But then, with violent war, certain adults continue to try to solve problems with violence. There's a lot of human love in the world, but something is not allowing modern-day people to finally build and maintain truly efficient, continually functional societies. Either the human control has gotten way out of control, or humanity has arrived at this dysfunctional state by accident, and I'm not sure which reason is worse. Whatever the reason, adults cannot seem to find sustained, lasting societal peace, and no one has been able to figure out exactly why until now. You see, in STK world, every time you go to work or to school or anywhere, you could just be hanging out and someone with a huge knife will try to unalive you. Here I am at school during recess. I'm just waiting to play some b-ball and this fool is trying to unalive everybody. And the way things are set up in STK world, it's near completely impossible to get away from the unaliver every time, which is why most people hide, or they try to run away, or more often, they get unalived. When you're unalived in STK world, you get reincarnated back to your house to do it all over again and again, every 5 minutes. When I saw this going on, I felt compelled to do something. I had to figure out how to help everybody. Long story short, I finally did it. In STK world, I've become like Neo from the Matrix movies. I figured it out. More importantly, using analogies and lessons learned from STK world, I was able to figure out how to free us all from our matrix in the real world. In other words, I figured out exactly how to fix the real world, and it's all much simpler than you might imagine. Everything I'm about to say can be gleaned from any encyclopedia and dictionary. Let me start here by saying that all human beings are connected, and too many people don't seem to realize it. For just one huge example, countries aren't separate. Every country is connected to the shared core of the earth. As a matter of fact, in truth, creation created one human country. It's called Earth. For another more compelling example, Imagine that no human umbilical cord has ever been severed. Think about it. Everyone is born physically connected to everyone else. So if we're all really connected, how did the world get to this dysfunctional state? Human societies are currently experiencing problem after problem after problem, with no end in sight. In fact, many situations seem to be getting worse, not better. During my time on Earth, I've concluded that in this physical material world, human societies will likely never be, quote, perfect, unquote, but human societies could be a whole lot better than they are now. Let's quickly examine how we got to this point in our human societal development. I'm going to be using some really simple graphics to show how relatively simple all these so-called complicated concepts truly are. Let's say this huge upward pointing arrow represents the development of all life on Earth. So what was happening about 20,000 years ago? Well, there were animals, insects, and so forth, and there were human tribes represented by these beige spots. 20,000 years ago, what were the animals doing? There's a quote that sums all this up quite nicely. Quote, "Buddha was greatly daunted by death. They all eat one another, he cried, and called it evil. This process I examined, changed the verb, and said, they all feed one another, and called it good," unquote. In other words, don't think of the natural world as a place where animals simply kill and devour other animals. Alternatively, more truthfully, collectively speaking, the natural world is a place where life feeds life in balanced, instinct-driven, non-excessive ways. I have heard, and this picture supports the fact that other animals aren't afraid of lions when the lions aren't hungry. Other animals can sense when lions aren't hungry, and they will casually walk past lions knowing that the lions will not prey upon them. So, 20,000 years ago, what were the human tribes doing? Primarily, they were living, hunting, eating, and socializing. 20,000 years ago, mostly all life on Earth, including animals and humans, were living in an instinct-driven balance. Let's jump ahead to 12,000 years ago. According to any encyclopedia, around 12,000 years ago, a few humans violently began to conduct invasion, conquest, war, and slavery to gain or to profit off of other humans. By about 6,000 years ago, in many lands, profit off of others' socioeconomic systems, including slavery, had become widespread, accepted, legal or quasi-legal institutions. For just one example, according to various sources, in ancient Greece, up to 80% of the entire population were slaves. So about 6,000 years ago, crucial elements of human socioeconomic societies officially changed. About 6,000 years ago, profit off of others' systems became the norm. Now, according to certain well-known religions, about 6,000 years ago, the first humans, Adam and Eve, were created in the Garden of Eden. According to certain religions, about 6,000 years ago, Adam and Eve bit the so-called forbidden fruit, and the human world changed. So, although science and certain religions disagree on the time frame of human creation, both science and certain religions agree that about 6,000 years ago, human society officially changed. As time marched on, according to any encyclopedia, about 1,200 years ago, in some parts of the world, slavery morphed into a less brutal profit off of others system called feudalism. Then feudalism eventually morphed into a less brutal profit off of others system called indentured servitude, which lasted in some parts of the world all the way up until the year 1917. About 500 years ago, in certain parts of the world, the profit off of others systems of slavery and feudalism began to be replaced with capitalism, which I dare say is a profit off of each other system. Because capitalism is a profit off of each other's system, capitalism harbors many detrimental issues, including exploitation of workers and consumers. Capitalism harbors crippling debt, and even 500 years ago, many people clearly realized that capitalism is a form of wage slavery. In response to the continual, inevitable failings of capitalism, about 180 years ago, socialism and communism began to develop. But in the so-called modern world, these arrangements are just state-run versions of the profit off of each other's system. Today, some countries continue to utilize Islamic theocracy, which is a religion-infused, state-run version of the profit off of each other's system. In other words, using capitalism, communism, socialism, and Islamic theocracy, most of the entire world is obviously utilizing a different version of the same flawed profit off of each other's systemic foundation. The following should be widespread, crystal clear common sense, but it's not. Regions, nations, including America and the world, will most likely never, ever achieve true, lasting efficiency, stability, and peace while humans are using profit off of each other's systems. Like, duh. These ways obviously generate problem after problem after problem. These ways obviously can't work for any lasting periods of time. These ways continually generate clash after struggle, after contention, after rivalry, after conflict, on and on and on. These misconfigured ways of life are clearly eating the world alive. We're cannibalizing ourselves and calling this advanced civilization. Various aspects of profit off of each other's systems obviously skew cultures. Profit off of each other's systems obviously exacerbate classism and racism. Profit off of each other's systems decrease human abilities to prepare for and respond to natural or man-made disasters. Overall, profit off of each other's systems cause and or perpetuate and or are related to nearly every major local, regional, and global problem. In STK world, people have to survive the unalivers. Analogously, in the real world, people have to survive conditions within profit off of systems because these systems constantly stress, perpetually torment, and over individual lifetimes, they slowly unalive nearly everyone. In truth, profit off of systems are sanctioned crimes against humanity. So what's the solution? Is everyone ready to see an achievable way to finally fix our world? These solutions, or the most correct ways to configure human societies, are extremely easy for all people to immediately see. These solutions exist right in front of your eyes, but most humans don't see them. By the way, these solutions are not magic. It took humanity thousands of years to get to our current dysfunctional state. These solutions will require some time and effort to implement, but this process will not be as difficult as some may believe because the solutions are so obvious. Here it is. Please try to think of a group of millions or more parts. Parts that all need resources. Parts that all work together for the benefit or for the profit of the whole group. Creation has given us many examples of groups of millions or more parts that work together for the benefit or for the profit of the whole. An example of the most perfect model to configure human societies is any typical human body. The typical human body consists of trillions of cells that all need resources, but that all work together for the benefit of the whole body. In other words, the most perfect model that describes how to configure human societies is the inner workings of any typical human body. Any typical human body has a resource distribution system called a bloodstream. All parts of any typical human body conduct work. The applicable similarities to human societies are endless. By modeling human economies after the inner workings of any typical human body, every person on Earth would partake upon the output of humanity. Using this profit for each other arrangement, according to certain calculations, a 3.5-day adult work week could produce all the goods and services that humanity requires. In the overly complicated profit off of each other economic systems we use today, nearly no one completely understands how they work. By modeling human economies after the inner workings of any typical human body, every adult human on Earth could more clearly see that systems are working properly. They could more readily verify that all humans have access to the output of humanity. By modeling human economies after the inner workings of any typical human body, people would have mostly everything we have now without all the built-in conflicts and problems. By modeling human economies in this way, resource production, packaging, distribution, and so forth will be so much more efficient. Many collective human activities will be far less harmful to nature and to the earth. Current misconfigured profit off of systems will always generate poor people who need. In other words, while we continue to use profit off of systems, the poverty problem and many other problems will most likely never be completely solved. By modeling human economies after the inner workings of any typical human body, every human being on Earth would eventually be upper middle class, such that the concept of class would become irrelevant. By modeling human economies in this way, we will be using the societal configurations that creation recommends. We will be using the configurations that the creator of life recommends. A light should be turning on in everyone's head right now. Please look at this extremely simple picture. Instead of systemic configurations that are designed for humans to profit off of each other for the benefit of self, this picture depicts a way to configure human societies such that people profit for each other for the benefit of everyone. Instead of systemic configurations that are set up based on the ways that conquerors think, this picture depicts a way to configure human societies based on the ways that the creator of life thinks. Whatever you call that creator, even if you don't believe in a creator, this picture depicts what life naturally does. At this point, I could speak seemingly forever about the obvious benefits that humanity would gain by peacefully transitioning societies to the socio-economic resource production and distribution arrangements that I'm describing here. I could also speak at greater lengths about the best ways for societies to peacefully transition to these arrangements, but I really shouldn't have to. Every adult human being knows, in general, how a typical human body works to distribute resources throughout the entire body. Do you see any borders in this picture? No. Borders can likely be retained to celebrate cultural diversity, to promote healthy sports competition, and so forth, but borders, as currently configured, too often serve to perpetuate war and collective human societal stagnation. Regarding control, profit, and classism, in any typical human body, everyone knows that the leg does not need to rule the finger, and the finger does not need to rule the leg. The liver doesn't function based on the profit for self motive. In other words, the liver does not need to sell blood to the kidneys for the personal profit of the liver. That sounds ridiculous. Instead, in the profit for each other arrangements described by this picture, the liver has incentives. That is, the liver is motivated to allow blood to pass through the liver to the kidneys for the profit of the whole body. The typical human body does not need to trickle resources to one part of the body while another part of the body hoards resources. The fingers don't live it up while the arms and legs starve. If that situation went on for too long within any typical human body, that entire body would become extinct. Every adult human knows these things. Regarding war and terrorism, in any typical human body, one hand would never need to wage war against the other hand. The liver and every other body part would never feel the need to terrorize the bloodstream, because due to the profit for each other arrangements described by this picture, terrorizing the bloodstream would hinder blood flow to itself. In general, after a human body eats or digests resources, the body's bloodstreams cycle those resources to every part of the body. Again, a light should be turning on in everyone's head right now. So, step 1, build human resource bloodstreams that cycle necessities, including water and food, to every human being. Step 2, continue to add necessities to the human resource bloodstreams. Once necessities are distributed, add non-necessities to the resource bloodstreams. Add useful items, add useful services. Imagine not competing against each other for food and personal survival, but competing for each other to do things such as inventing useful goods and services. Imagine people no longer working to attain at the expense of others, but working to maintain their access to humanity's output. Imagine everyone working to contribute to the output of humanity while clearly seeing that everyone around them has access to humanity's output. Again, the applicable similarities between a typical human body and the most correct socioeconomic arrangements for human societies are plentiful. Everyone should now be able to see these simple, obvious truths. I am describing achievable socioeconomic configurations that would allow individuals and societies to eventually thrive together, peacefully. The structures to accommodate these changes have already been laid out in nearly every country's constitution in the forms of calling for renewed constitutional conventions. If enough people called for societies to peacefully transition to profit for all arrangements, the world would finally, eventually change. Everything I'm saying and much more can be found in a book called A Way to Fix Our World. This book is located on Amazon.com and also on our website called peacefultransition.org. We use this YouTube channel, Gaming Pros 911, and also the YouTube music channel, Legacy Sounds 888, to raise money to distribute this book. Similar to the music mixing and blending that you're hearing in this video, Legacy Sounds 888 contains some of the best music mixing and blending that you'll find anywhere. So by merely subscribing to and supporting Gaming Pros 911 and Legacy Sounds 888, you will be helping to distribute this vital message to the world. By the way, in STK world, everyone must carry a huge knife. To help people the way that I do, I need to carry the knife that has the longest trail in order to distract the unalivers as much as possible. It just so happens that the knife with the longest trail, it has the word unalive written on it. I am not an unaliver. I am a healer. For a long while, people have been waiting for younger generations like ours to fix the world, but they never had a viable plan to unite around. Now, we have a sensible, achievable plan, a detailed so-called blueprint that can finally make it all make sense. For the sake of the world, get this book, study it, teach as many people as you can, and let's finally, eventually end the societal madness and systemic human pain. Peace be with you all.